Good evening, class, and welcome to Lesson 3.2, Place Value of Decimals. Let's begin by taking a look at our essential question. How do you read, write, and represent decimals through thousandths? Well, let's take a look at our Unlock the Problem. The Brooklyn Battery Tunnel in New York City is 1 in 726 thousandths miles long. It is the longest underwater tunnel for vehicles in the United States. To understand this distance, you need to understand the place value of each digit in 1 in 726 thousandths. You can use a place value chart to understand decimals. Whole numbers are to the left of the decimal point. Decimals are to the right of the decimal point. The thousandth place is to the right of the hundredths place. So we have our decimal place right here. And to the left of the decimal, we have our whole numbers, which begins with ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, and so on. Again, here is our decimal point. To the right of our decimal is tenths with the TH, hundredths with the TH, and thousandths with the TH. So the place value of the digit 6 in 1 in 726 thousandths is the thousandths because we have our whole number of 1, our decimal point, and 726 thousandths. So the 6th place value is in the thousandths place. The value of 6 in 1 in 726 thousandths is 6 times 1/1000th, or 0.006. And that because the value becomes 0.006. Again, just like we did with our whole numbers, there's 3 different ways that we can write our decimals. Our standard form is 1 in 726 thousandth, or 1.726. Word form, which is 1 and, because the decimal stands for and, 726 thousandths. Our expanded form is 1 times 1 plus 7 times 1/10, because it's 7 times 1/10, plus 2 times 100, because our 2 is in the hundredths spot, plus 6 times 1,000th, because our 6 is in the 1,000th spot. So it says to use place value to read and write decimals. Our standard form is 2 and 35 hundredths. Our word form is 2 and the and stands for the decimal, and that would be 35 hundredths. And remember, this hundredth ends in our TH. Our expanded form is 2 times 1, because that gives us our whole number of 2, plus, we have a 3 in our 10th spot, so that's 3 times 1/10, plus we have a 5 in the 100th spot, so that's 5 times 100ths. Now, if we have our standard form, which is what we have to find, we have to look at our word form, and it says 3 and, so we know the 3 is our whole number, and is our decimal, 614. So let's write that first, 614 thousandths. So that's our standard form. Our expanded form is, we have to start with our whole number of 3 times 1, because we only have 3 ones, plus 6 times 1/10, plus 1 times 100ths, plus 4 times 1,000ths. Now let's take a look at another example. It says, the silk spun by a common garden spider is about 3,000th millimeters thick. A commonly used sewing thread is about 3/10 millimeter thick. How does the thickness of the spider silk and the thread compare? So we create our place value chart. We have our whole number to the left of the decimal point, and we have our decimal place values to the right. We begin with tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. So we count the number of decimal place value positions to the digit 3 in 3/10 and 3/1000. So 3/10 has, so we have one place value to the right of the decimal, and we have 1, 2, 3 place values to the right of the decimal. So 3/10 has 2 fewer decimal places than 3/1000. 2 fewer decimal places is 10 times 10 equals 100. 3/10 is 100 times as much as 3,000. 3,000 is 1/100th of 3/10. So the thread is 100 times as thick as the garden spider silk. The thickness of the garden spider silk is 1/100th that of the thread. So you can use place value patterns to rename a decimal. So let's try this. It says to use place value patterns. Rename 3/10 using other place values. So 3/10 equals 3 times 1/10. 3/100 equals 30/100, or 30 times 1/10. 300,000 equals 300,000, or 300 times 1,000. Okay, so let's look at our problem of the day. Problem of the day says, which of the following equations is true? So you have to choose. And remember, you must use your order of operations, which says, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And that's parentheses, equations, multiplication and division, which are inverse operations. So we do those left to right, and then addition and subtraction, which are inverse operation, and again we do those left to right. But we do addition and subtraction only after we have finished our multiplication and division. So go ahead and solve our problem of the day. Make sure you record it in your math book or in your planner, and I will see you in class tomorrow.